I love coupes, but not really when that design execution of a typical coupe body shape is applied to an SUV body shape. I've never really been a fan of coupe SUVs, but they are all the rage. In fact, BMW is credited or blamed for the emergence of this category itself, and it goes all the way back to the X6. It was based on the fantastic X5, and with the X6, BMW sensed a great opportunity, and that's exactly why cars like the X4 exist. These things can be very polarizing, and whether they are the victim of their own emergence or a success is something that is hotly debated among enthusiasts. Well, all that aside, the X4 definitely comes across as a fantastic car to drive, but also with some compromises. And those compromises largely come in the way of ride quality and comfort. I'm not really saying that this is a crashy experience. It's not, because despite of riding on 20-inch wheels both in the front and the rear, this thing actually absorbs the bumps pretty okay. It has adaptive suspension. But you always feel that there is something happening, and the car always tells you that the road surface is of a certain kind. Again, this should not be confused with the ride quality not being good. And it can actually be a comforting experience for the major part of your drive. But when you start stretching its legs and when you start going at a little speed, then the undulations on the road is going to be felt. So that's something a car of this sort, or specifically this one, because it's stiffer on its springs and everything, it gives you that feeling. It's not calming, so to say. Seats, they come to the rescue to a certain extent because they are very nicely designed. They're cushioned also very nicely, and long distances are not going to be a problem, especially if you are sitting in the front. If you're sitting in the back, things are slightly different because you don't really have a lot of underthigh support if you are a slightly tallish person, and that has been one of my main concerns with it. The space is okay. You don't really have an issue over there because in this sort of a footprint and this sort of a car, the space is managed very well. But the seat in the back is something that should have been designed slightly better. You almost sink into it and you have your knees pointing up. But overall, the cushioning and architecture of the seats, especially the fronts, are absolutely on point. And this variant that we're driving, the Silver Shadow Edition, is absolutely brilliant when it comes to the way it looks on the road. It catches a lot of attention, and that is primarily due to the fact that this color is very, very unique. This one is grey with undertones of blue to it, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. In fact, when the car was parked in my parking bay, a few guys, they actually came up and said, you know what, we've seen quite a few cars parked in your parking bay, but this one looks very different because of the color. Just the color itself was something that attracted a lot of people, and that's saying a lot. And all these elements of darkened grille section and everything at the rear also being black, that has been done very well and complements this color in a very successful way. But again, all this essentially comes at the cost of practicality because you have a sloping roofline, and while passengers in the rear will not really feel it all that much, you have fairly decent amount of headroom. When it comes to putting luggage in the back, you will feel the difference between this and the X3. That's exactly why I said the practicality of X3 is far better. Even on the equipment levels, these things are pretty evenly matched. I don't know why BMW has not given a few very crucial things, like for example, ventilated seats. I don't know why BMW skipped on that, because all these things are now becoming the norm, even in segments lower, like not just one or two, but 3-4 segments lower. But otherwise, you get almost everything. There is an entire connectivity suite that is offered. You get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless, of course, and everything else also is pretty much what is the norm for the industry right now. So yeah, in terms of features, you'll not find yourself wanting for a whole lot more. But yes, a couple of these small things could have been very good add-ons. In terms of safety also, the X4 comes pretty loaded, and you also have an automatic differential at the back, so that essentially senses if the wheel is slipping away and there is less amount of traction available. The brake force compensation is going to sort you out over there. So yeah, in terms of technology, in terms of everything that you need from the features list, this one is definitely loaded enough. But what is absolutely wonderful is the engine that hides under this bonnet, and we are driving the diesel. There is also a petrol that is on offer, but this diesel, it's a 6-cylinder, so it's absolutely phenomenally refined. I don't know what BMW has done, but this diesel engine genuinely sounds very good. Somehow they've managed to completely get rid of that typical diesel clatter, to use that cliched word, but yes, they have gotten rid of the clatter, and there is just this beautiful induction sound that you get, and yeah, it doesn't sound diesely at all, which is absolutely mind-boggling. So they've done some witchcraft, which has worked fantastically well. The outright power figure may not be all that impressive. It's about 265 horsepower, but the big crucial number is that of the torque, and that is 620 Newton meter. And even more crucial is the way it is delivered, and the peak actually comes in between 2000 to 2500 RPM. So it's just a band of 500 RPM that gives you all the torque that you have in the car, and 620 is not a small figure at all. And that is felt, of course, when you go in the mid-range, because you have the peak torque coming in at about 2000 till 2500. After that, even if it tapers off, there is a healthy amount of torque available all through, and the way this thing accelerates through the gears is just amazing. I never thought that I'll say great and happy things about a diesel engine, because I'm, of course, a fan of petrols. If you've been watching this show for a while, you know that I have a little sense of connection with petrol engines. But this one, it absolutely delivers, and it also plasters a smile on your face, because the way this thing accelerates right off the line is all fine. It's mighty impressive, but it's more the in-gear acceleration with this car that absolutely is addictive, and that's where you start enjoying the car a lot more. It's the overall fluidity of the car that really appeals to you, because the way this thing handles, it handles very, very well. It tracks the line in a very confident way, and it has all the grip that you really want. And then through this 8-speed seamless automatic gearbox, those 620 Newton meters are delivered very nicely, and you're always in the right band of torque delivery. You never really have to wait for the surge to come in. Just get on the throttle and it absolutely shoots ahead. You don't even have to work the gearbox all too often, and it is so in sync. The entire experience, the gearbox, the way the power is delivered or the torque is delivered, and then the steering itself, it is all so in sync, and the experience is so harmonious that you will always have a good smile on your face when you are trying to be a little rapid with this car. And even if you're not being rapid with it, this thing is still going to make you smile, because you know that there is a decent amount of power lurking in the background, and you only have to tap the throttle pedal and you are going to take off. And that experience is delivered even better in the sport mode. Overall, the changes are not really all that dramatic, but yes, the gearbox is sharpened up when you get into the sport mode. So if you're trying to be a little aggressive behind the wheel, I would say that you should drive this car in sport. Otherwise, for the most part, comfort is going to be absolutely fine for you. But everything aside, this is a BMW, and we have to talk about the dynamics. Every BMW gives a sense of great involvement from behind the wheel, and this one is no different. So to bring all of that talk together, the BMW X4 is the X3 enhanced, and enhanced in a way that is absolutely bonkers good, because it looks very stylish. It catches a lot of attention on the road, which essentially is one of the most important parameters for a lot of people. When you buy a brand like the BMW or any expensive brand, you want for people to look at it. And the X4 delivers that in style. And then is the drive experience, which itself is not bad at all. It drives very nicely. It has oodles of grip. The performance from this 6-cylinder diesel engine is creamy smooth and also very engaging. All those 600 plus torques, they are very, very addictive. And then you have all your safety net in place. And of course, this is a BMW, so the driving dynamics are all sorted also. Plus, the very fact that it's the X-Drive, you have the assurance of all-wheel drive system, but you also have a little rear bias, so you can definitely have a little bit of play. So all in all, a true BMW driving experience or a true BMW SUV driving experience with all the style that you want. Not a bad combination, is it?